Welcome to That's Debatable. My name's Nick.
And I'm Corey. And what we're doing for today is we're going to be debating on a few separate subjects.
We ask a controversial question, and one of us is forced to defend it, and the other one is forced to oppose it.
And then we'll debate for a little bit, and you guys will decide who's the winner and who's the loser.
And we make these debates as stupid and funny as possible.
Welcome to That's Debatable. I'm Corey.
And I'm Nick.
That's Debatable number 5. It's our 5th podcast. And if you want to watch this full uncut and uncensored version of this podcast, you can go and get early access to it on our Patreon link down below. And what else can you do, Nick?
You can watch our fully uncut and uncensored movies and shows on Patreon. And you can go check them out on YouTube in case you want to see other content if you think we're funny, which you do because you're here.
That's YouTube/Nick and Corey. And also, if you want to watch the podcast, not early access, we all upload these to Spotify and Apple Music and wherever else you can get your podcast. Anyways, what's the first one?
The first question is ghosting someone ever justified?
Ooh.
Get that coin flip out, Corey.
All right. I need to get like a coin.
Get the coin flipperoo.
Or you have to use a coin flip app because I don't have a
We need a custom Nick and Corey coin.
So this is going to be for you. Heads is you are justified for ghosting someone. Tails is ghosting someone is never justified.
Okay.
And you are tails. Ghosting is never justified is your position. I am ghosting is justified.
Okay. Ghosting someone is really, really because you leave somebody with an open-ended understanding of something didn't work and they don't know what happened. I just got ghosted recently. It feels really I don't think I've ever ghosted anyone. Maybe I have. I think usually if you're the ghoster, you probably don't remember it as much because you're the one delivering the poop. You're not receiving it. But back to ghosting being bad. It just leaves someone with a you f***ed up, but you don't know why. It's like getting punished for something without knowing what you're getting punished for. Hey, you're going to prison, sir. I'm not going to tell you why. You're going to have to figure that one out on your own, but you're going to prison. That's what getting ghosted feels like.
That's how it works.
It's what do you mean? You always know what you're going to prison for.
Not when you get arrested. Sir, you're under arrest. Why? You'll learn eventually.
You're really ugly.
You're under arrest for resisting arrest.
That sadly happens. No, but getting ghosted sucks. I don't think there's ever been a person that got ghosted and said, this is okay. It sucks. It means that you were undesirable or unwanted for some reason. You don't know why. Maybe it was personal to you. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe you smelled really bad. Maybe the person had somebody else. Maybe the person was going through some trauma and didn't want to include you in it. It could have been bad. It could have been neutral. It could have been good. Maybe the person...
Neutral.
Maybe the person thinks that they're such shit that you're better off without them, so they ghost you. But you're left being upset.
And now for the sensible position.
Go ahead.
I don't think any of that matters. At one point, do you owe someone your time? You're a human being. You are not owed my time. Me not presenting you with my time is not a punishment. You're back to where you started. No worse, no better. So if we go on 3 dates and I don't approve of you, either for the most minimal thing of like, you just ick me out, or you could have been a really bad person where I got like killer vibes, like harassment vibes, like you're going to stalk me and like ruin my life. I don't want to have any more connection with you or any more conversation than I already have to. So if after that 3rd date, you're like, hey girl, I know it's the 3rd date. Why haven't you put out yet? Instant ick, instant no longer talking to this person. I'm not going to tell them, hey, this is why I'm breaking up or not talking anymore. Just done.
So you're saying ghosting is okay for safety purposes?
Yeah, for sure. If you go on a date with someone and they give you a vibe like, I don't feel safe being alone with them or giving them any more info, having that conversation to tell them that could make them violent.
So you're saying texting somebody, hey, I don't think this is going to work out, could trigger something bad.
Yeah. As a woman, I imagine lots of women relate to that.
Oh yeah, women are going to love hearing that one, Corey.
Hey, listen. As a woman, I didn't say I'm a woman. I said as a woman, I'm sure a lot of people are going to relate to that.
No one will think that you're not saying as you are saying as a woman. Change that.
As a woman, I'm sure lots of people will relate to that.
That makes no sense.
They will relate to that. There is a fearfulness with dating where they will sometimes encounter people who just give them this like sixth sense. It's like a shark.
It's an instinct.
They have electromagnetism for douchebaggery and harmfulness.
I think that if you are eloquent with your words, you can probably better diffuse a situation by delivering. Yeah, diffuse a situation.
Why do you have to diffuse?
You're a negotiator. The person is standing on the ledge. What? Them to not hurt you.
What?
I'm saying that there's a chance you ghost someone, they could get mad about the ghosting and react more poorly than they could if you let them off lightly.
If you ghost someone and they react poorly to that, there is zero doubt in my mind that they would react better to
Time
being
to hit
told.
you with that hard counter.
All right.
Time to play super devil's advocate.
All right.
Okay, you have a fucking creep and they will not leave you alone. You've gone on a few dates. They got super clingy and attached.
Okay.
Is ghosting them the best bet?
Yes.
No. Saying, hey, I have AIDS and I'm going to give it to you if you don't ghost me.
You are not
I mean,
helping
if you
your
don't
position.
stop.
You are not helping your position.
Why?
That would not get them to stop. That would make you it would make them encouraged
How would they be encouraged?
because you're talking to them still.
You said, hey, I have AIDS. I will give it to you.
You're not a skunk.
I'm going to bite you in your sleep
You're not a lizard
and bleed
dropping
into
your
you.
tail. No.
I'm gonna bleed into you.
No, they're a toddler.
I'm going to inject you with my blood if you keep bothering
These
me.
people have the mentality of a toddler that's like any attention is good attention. They will act out.
I will gather STDs and deliver them
They
all
don't
to you like
believe
Pokemon.
you. They don't believe you. They don't hear it. They're just saying, oh, you're talking to me still. If I tell you that I'm going to stab you in the middle of the night, then you'll text me back.
God, some people are fucking sad. No, I think if you threaten someone with a disease, I'm going to I work for the government at a biological lab, and
They
I will
won't
bring
believe you.
monkeypox back into reality.
These people
and
are
give it to
not
you.
realistic. They won't believe you. I think that the safest thing is to just ghost them. Make them lose their attention.
I think there's a better way to get rid of someone than ghosting.
Yeah, the police.
And I think threatening them with giving them a terminal disease is powerful.
I think that ghosting is the equivalent of being at will state for working, where if you just aren't working with somebody well, then you don't owe them your time. Just leave. If you had been dating for years and years and it was a good relationship, yeah, don't like just up and move and like witness protection. That's weird. But like if you're in the dating phase, it's been a month, maybe 2 months, and you're like, something is really off about this. I don't feel safe talking to them anymore. Ghost them. You don't owe them. You don't owe them anything.
Shit. You don't owe them nothing. What do you guys think? Do you think ghosting someone is truly fucked up, or do you think it's okay? Which side do you think won this debate? Let us know.
Bum, 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 bum. Next
Bum,
one.
bum. Okay, next question for That's Debatable.
That's debatable.
Can money buy happiness?
Can money buy happiness? This is for me. I will say heads is money can buy happiness, and tails is heads. Money
Heads.
can buy happiness is perfect because I believe that.
And I'm
Money-
going against it. Money can't buy happiness.
Money can buy
Start us up,
happiness.
Corey.
All right. Poor people ain't happy. Done.
You said poor people ain't happy?
Poor people ain't happy. Poor people ain't
You have
happy.
nothing else? That's it?
I have more, but go. Poor people ain't happy.
I think some poor people are the happiest people in the world because
Debatable.
they're not focused on what they don't have.
Yes, they're focused on getting money because they don't have it.
Okay, while I will say there's a level of poor you can be where money is an extremely stressful factor, I don't think money is the source of happiness at all. While there is a threshold of money that will alleviate problems, I think people's desire for money is oftentimes a much bigger source of unhappiness than it is happiness.
The desire for money comes from the lack of having money. Therefore, if you don't have money to desire it, you are unhappy because you don't have the money to buy your happiness.
You can't buy happiness.
Yes, you can.
At which point will you be satisfied with enough if you're
When you
seeking
can
out
afford
money?
your rent, when you can afford your car, when you can afford your medical bills, when you can afford to fund your college degrees and your children's
But is
college
that money
degrees.
buying happiness?
Yes, it is. It's more like renting, but still buying.
But
You're leasing happiness.
technically you are always leasing happiness because happiness
Here-
is not a destination, it is a
Here's
state.
the phrase. People have heard this before. Money cannot buy happiness. That is not the complete phrase. The phrase is money cannot buy happiness, but it sure do keep the unhappiness away. If you don't have money, it does not mean you are happier than people with money. People can still be unhappy with money. But if you don't have money, you are sure as not happy.
People can be happy without money too. There's plenty of poor people.
I don't believe.
There's plenty of poor people, boy. That
I
are
think there are
happier,
people-
that are much happier. I guarantee.
I think there's a difference between being poor and living a simple life.
I'm
There's
talking
very-
about poor. I think there's
Yeah,
plenty of
I don't think people that are poor are happy.
destitute poor people that are happier than billionaires.
I don't believe it. I don't believe a single one. That is a
Money comes
that is a
with
statement
problems.
that comes from my butthole that is smelly and covered in corn, and I
That
don't
is
believe it.
not a good debate.
I don't believe
that
that-
is not a good debate.
Neither is saying there are poor people that are happier than billionaires. What kind of stat is that?
I just don't think money can buy happiness because
I think that money
there's-
can buy the way out of
There's
unhappiness.
other sources to fulfillment than money.
Sure. What are those sources?
Kids.
Do you have any? No.
What do you mean?
I'm saying, like, you can't just say that you are happy because of these things.
Community.
All right,
Family,
let me go one by one.
friendships.
Let me go one by one. Kids. You said
Yeah.
kids can get you happiness, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. How do you have kids?
You.
All right. What happens after that? You birth them? All right. Medical bill. After that, what happens?
You can have them in a tub.
What happens after that?
You raise them.
You raise them. Diapers. Diaper costs.
You
After that,
wrap them with a cloth.
they
you
get
keep
sick.
washing.
Doctor costs.
Throw them
After
away.
that,
you make a new one.
New clothes. Gap costs.
Gap costs.
Yeah, the Gap. You have to buy increasingly larger clothes at the Gap. School books cost. College costs.
All of that is trivial.
What are you gonna do? Raise them in a barn for the rest? They learn
you
one.
raise them as a fucking animal.
Are you gonna unschool them?
The kid's just gonna.
They're gonna be 6 years old and
They're
learn how to
goat.
say egg for the
They go,
first time.
that your kid speaks as a goat, and they're so
All
happy.
right, next one. Kids cost f***ing money. Next one. Community.
Yeah.
All right, what about community makes you happy?
You have a big group of people that loves you.
Like you live near?
Yeah, you have like a
Where do you live?
in a commune. I don't fucking know.
Not a
in
house.
A tribe.
It's not a house. Houses cost money.
Doesn't matter. You could be happier living in a tent than somebody is in a house.
Tents cost money. The land
they
under
don't.
that tent costs
You
money.
can build a tent out of dirt.
Dirt costs money.
Dirt does not cost money.
It's not your dirt.
I don't think money is the source of happiness, man.
Money is the source of happiness.
It is not a source
You
of
can
happiness.
argue with that all you want.
Money can help take care of problems in your life, but
Those
it's
problems
not.
are there. The
but
problems
it's-
are there.
Money can help you take care of problems in your life, but it's not gonna cure depression.
Pills cost money.
Fuck, you're right on that one. But pills are a temporary solution. But
Everything's a temporary solution. You're
really,
gonna die eventually.
I'm gonna give you guys a nice little philosophical takeaway here. Happiness is not a destination. It is a state.
We're gonna call this
of being.
philosophical pizza takeout.
It is a state of being. Happiness is not a destination. You can't reach it and stay there. You have to constantly convert your peace into happiness.
You have to constantly input something to get the happiness.
Is your input money?
Yeah.
You fucking dweeb.
Maybe it's not. Obviously, it's not money. It's not like you just have $1 and then you like, God, here's $1. Give happiness. It's
Money
you
can-
spend that money on things that bring you happiness.
Money can help you alleviate problems, but there's no amount of money
There is an amount of money.
that can outweigh other things that can provide happiness for you.
Those things
Or
cost money.
satisfaction. No, there's
do you mean-
things
what
you
do
can
you
get that
mean
money
no?
can't buy.
Like what?
Money can't buy a friendship.
Yes, it can.
Not a good one.
Yes, it can.
Not a good one.
Yes, it can.
No.
What is your favorite thing to do in the world right now?
Pickleball.
How much money does it cost
I can
to
do
play?
it for free.
No, you can't.
I can outside.
Court costs.
Outside.
Paddle costs.
Huh?
Shoe costs. How much do you spend on shoes a year?
I can play barefoot and be happy.
No, you can't. You just had an ankle problem and couldn't play and you were very unhappy.
It would suck.
How unhappy were you that you couldn't play pickleball because of your ankle?
It was my ankle. It was my heel.
Even better. How unhappy were you that
It
you
sucked. It made me sad.
Uh-huh. And that would have happened faster without shoes.
Yes. But I would have built calluses and my feet would be protected.
What are you, a hobbit? You're not going to build
No, there's
calluses.
fucking people in Africa that can walk on coals.
And they're not happy if
They're
they
probably
can't
happier-
afford. If they're walking on coals, they're not happy.
They're probably happier than most Americans.
I doubt it.
Corey, there's a saying by the Buddhists where desire is the source of unhappiness. Desire oftentimes comes from money. So
Desire doesn't mean money.
when you have desire for something and you can't fulfill it.
All right, listen up, Guru Lakima. You're not an airman. You're not an airbender. You don't have
Listen,
to be
buddy.
a monk that has no earthly
Yeah,
attachment.
I'm an airbender.
No, desire means anything. Desire doesn't just mean monetary greed.
You can have desire
You can
and
desire a
you're-
relationship and be unhappy.
Yeah, sure. But I'm saying that I don't think money is going to solve happiness.
I think money solves all unhappinesses. If you're unhappy, tell me exactly. Literally
There's-
the thing. Tell me the thing that you are unhappy about, and then really think, how much money does it cost
There's
to have
an
that thing?
actual statistic though. There's a movie called Happy, I think. It's a documentary I watched in engineering class for some reason, but it broke down that beyond a certain threshold. Now this can be used as a counter argument for both of our points.
The reason is most people are not at that threshold.
They can be.
I would-
It depends on the country and
I don't think
what's
so.
it called, the baseline cost of living, something like that, or the baseline
cost of living.
quality of life. If you can surpass a certain threshold, I would guess in the U.S. maybe right now it's like around like $70K based on where you live of a salary. You can have all of your base necessities fulfilled, and any amount of money, like statistically studied, doesn't improve your happiness and can actually be a counter effect and can lower your happiness.
I disagree with these statements.
Well, you're fucking dumb.
Because, again, I will say, think about anything that you want or would like that would make you happier, And I guarantee there is a financial reason as to why you don't
There's
have
a
it.
lot of things that I could get out of life that are like not financially tied that can greatly improve my happiness.
Again, give me an example, and I will tell you exactly why money is the reason you don't have it. Money is the reason you don't have any of the things you're unhappy about.
I don't know, having kids, having a relationship.
You don't have kids because you don't have a girlfriend because you're worried about money to have that girlfriend, and you're also worried about being able to afford that kid because you don't have enough money to raise them.
I feel like all of those can be alleviated though.
How?
I totally understand where you're coming from on a serious point where money can be a source of unhappiness, but I don't think it can be a source of happiness.
It's the source of the things that make you happy. You could talk around it as much as you want, but if you have things that make you unhappy, maybe the thing you're unhappy about is you hate your job. You're making plenty of money, but you hate your job.
Mm-hmm. That money's not bringing you any joy.
No, the job is bringing you unjoy. The job is bringing you unhappiness.
Unjoy.
If it wasn't about money, you would have left already. But you're worried about affording your lifestyle.
And plenty of people
by swapping.
Do lifestyle creep, and they increase through desires. Desires are the source of their unhappiness. This is a very, very common problem in first world countries. This is literally first world problems where somebody continues making more and more money, but their expenses get so high that they're essentially living paycheck to paycheck. You could be making $250,000, $250,000 a year, and be basically broke because your expenses are so high. You have 3 expensive cars. You have an expensive mortgage.
Now, there's a difference.
Money on frivolous things.
There is a difference between someone who is financially intelligent and someone who's not.
Most people aren't.
However, that is not the point. The point is those people who are living paycheck to paycheck but also making like $500,000 a year, if they're making $600,000, they'd be happy with their current lifestyle. They'd creep it up because they're dumb, but they'd be happier.
So. I think there's very little difference in the happiness that $500K versus $600K will deliver someone.
Tell me why you think someone who makes that much money is unhappy.
Unhappy?
Yeah, why would someone who makes $500,000 be unhappy?
Their income could be a big source of their woes. They could be sacrificing their happiness for a job that they detest. That takes up... You could be working...
Why would they do that?
Because they want more money out of desire.
For what reason? They're using
their
it for
desires
something.
for frivolous, hedonistic desires that
Here's
are
the thing.
Sources of
Those
materialistic...
are things they want.
Yes, but that want is not happiness.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. This is literally where that saying of like desire is the source of your unhappiness.
This is some philosophical shit. If you want something and you get it, you are happy. If you don't want something and you don't have it, then you are not unhappy.
I think we both have actually very valid points for this one, and this is probably the first good debate we've had where there's been less devil advocacy.
I genuinely cannot. I'm not saying this about you or anything, but like I genuinely have never heard a argument that makes me think that money isn't tied to something that would make me happy.
In fact, if you've ever played a video game and put in cheat codes, did that lower your desire of playing that game?
No.
It diminished it for me completely because it's unearned.
No, I usually put in cheat codes after the fact of enjoying it.
A further statistic.
But even then, what does that mean, cheat codes? Like, what does that have to do with this?
So, like, imagine, okay, goes into my next point. A further statistic is some of the most miserable people in the world are trust fund kids because they have no purpose to their life. They have no way of earning their own respect for what they've done because daddy gave it to them.
Sure, but maybe some of them aren't. And also...
It's a very common problem. They have very
and it's also a very common problem that people that don't come from money are unhappy because they can't afford to feed their kids. Like that you could go either way on this.
Yeah, and I think money is a bigger source of unhappiness than it is for actual happiness.
This is I don't want to call it first world problem. It's something different than that, but it's a sense of like, yes, you have unlocked a new issue. You've unlocked a new quest. If you have so much money that you don't know what to do in life because you have no challenges, yeah, that's a struggle that people that are poor don't have to deal with. And like you are now having an issue because you have too much money. Mm-hmm. People that are poor don't have that because they're so fucking stressed and busy that it's not even a concern of theirs. They have so many other issues.
And that might be keeping them happier.
No, they're not happy.
I think we've reached a point of standstill. I think we've both presented good points. I want to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think money is an actual source of happiness? What do you think of Corey and I's points?
I think it's a cope. I think if you say that money doesn't bring happiness because you don't want to have more money or you can't get it and you're unhappy. And I'm not saying that because I have any. I really don't. I don't have any money. But I wish I had more and I think it would make me happier.
I do think having a certain amount of money is a great way to live a baseline lifestyle where you have less stress. But if you exceed that and you look for more money for purposes of, I don't know, you want a nicer, newer car, or a nicer, newer phone, or this, that, and the other to impress those people around you with possessions that don't even improve your quality of life, I think that is a source of seeking hedonistic desire that will actually lead to less happiness.
I will say this. There are things in life that money will not improve if you throw more and more into it. However, there is a baseline up to that point where throwing money in will help that thing.
So yes, my last point will be that money is a cure for unhappiness, but it is not a source of happiness.
If you have all the money in the world, you will still have some issues. If you have no money, you will have lots of issues. And having money will make many, if not the majority of those issues, go away.
Okay, we will leave it there. Last question. Can men and women be just friends?
Can men and women be just friends?
This is a spicy one.
Just friends. Heads is they can. Tails they can't. Nick, you say they can't. Men and women cannot be friends.
Oh, fuck.
You can start if you want.
People are horny, and it is very hard to separate that horniness.
Honestly, I think that you have the easier job.
Proving this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people find it difficult.
I have the altruistic, optimistic opinion of this, where like I'm forced to defend that men and women can be just friends, but I think the reality is your side.
I think the opposite, actually, which is funny.
Interesting.
But
Ooh, interesting.
I think there's a challenge that comes to friendship with opposite sexes, and I think a lot of jealousy gets involved in uncomfortable relationships where people just have no trust of the other person, and that has nothing to do with men and women friendships. I think it's very possible to be friends with a girl or as a guy, or a guy as a girl, or any other combination of whatever that could be. I think it's very possible. I think you can have a fine friendship and you don't have to get your penis and vagina in the way of that or whatever else you're working with.
If it was so possible, why does it not happen very often?
Because people suck and they don't trust each other, and people get into relationships, and a lot of people that get into relationships will end up isolating themselves from all of their friendships and make themselves a lot more depressed.
Here's the thing. The reality of the situation is that the majority of people that are guys and then majority of people that are girls don't have many, if any, friendships on the other side.
Yeah, that I don't disagree with that.
But I'm supposed to be defending that they can be friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that...
You just shit on yourself, really. It's like you opened your statement as a lawyer. It's like, okay, so my client's probably guilty.
Ladies
but
and gentlemen of the
prove
jury, my client looks guilty as but I'm going to tell them why they're not. Here's the thing. There's no reason why men and women can't be friends. It's just that the stats kind of show that they aren't. But the thing is, if you take not just this very macho heterosexual male and then feminine heterosexual female kind of like take on this, they're like, oh, men are a different species. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, or whatever that's the cosmopolitan thing is from in the 80s. Outside of that, every other community, men and women are just friends in like no issue. In like pretty much the entirety of like the LGBT community, it's like there's no issues there because there's no jealousies.
Yeah,
it's
but you're talking about the issue as heterosexuals.
Generally, it's the statement just says men and women, but it's like usually it's heterosexual men and heterosexual women can't be friends. But there's still the case of that.
Do you think feelings get in the way?
I think feelings get in the way.
Let me pose a counter argument. Are you attracted to every girl?
No.
Okay. Why can't you be friends with a girl you're not attracted to?
Why
can't you be friends with a girl you are attracted to?
Well, I'm not going to argue your point for you.
Are people not so weak that they can keep their genitals in their pants and step away from that for a moment?
I think personally that it's possible for me. Like I have no issue being friends with people that I'm attracted to. And I would hope that there are people out there that find me attractive that have no issue just being my friend.
Okay, I have a girlfriend. You have a girlfriend. I can be friends with your girlfriend. You can be friends with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that?
You're supposed to be defending
both people
why
are
they can't.
taken. Huh?
You're the other side.
I'm defending why they can't?
Yeah. I know, right?
Because the girlfriends are going to get jealous and they're going to hate each other.
It is hard.
We think opposite sides.
I know.
Fuck.
Okay. Pause. Restart. Try to like really focus on your point. I think that men and women can be friends because why can't they? Oh, darn. It would be a shame if there was some sort of bigoted reason why they weren't friends. That seems really bad. Don't do that. Your turn.
What the fuck? That was it. That was it.
If you're a man and you're not friends with a woman, you're an incel. If you're a woman and you're not friends with men, you're a
femcel.
You're a feminist, but not the good kind. All right, your turn.
Oh, fuck. Men and women can't be friends because the P goes in the V, and if the P and V are in proximity with one another,
they're not magnets.
They're tempted to. They're magnetized. Things do get messy. People develop crushes out of proximity. You could not even be attracted to someone, and just as time passes, you spend more time around them, you develop an attraction towards them.
I don't believe it.
That can complicate things.
I don't believe it. No, I don't like some people's personality, and I'm friends with them out of pity. I would never.
Out of pity?
I would never. I can be friends with people that I are just women that are like I don't
Are just women? What
Yeah.
are you trying to say?
like they're not attractive to me women.
They're just women. They're not attractive, but they're just women.
Well, there's adjectives that I could have thrown on there.
I will say, personally, for me, it is easier to be friends with a woman who I am not sexually attracted to because there's less emotions that get in the way. But at the same time, I've had girlfriends that I was in the past attracted to and had a crush on at some point, and then that devolved for whatever reason, and I moved on, and I now kept them as friends, and shit happens, you drift apart, but I had no problem being friends with them.
I think that if everybody in the world had a little bit more of an emotional outlet in therapy, this wouldn't really be as big a deal. Because like I've always said this, you can't control your emotions, but you can control your actions.
Yes.
So like if you have a friend who is a guy and you like them and you're a girl, yeah, you're allowed to have those feelings, but like they don't owe you anything as your friend and you shouldn't bring it out to them with your actions. Just let it be. And like if you see signs that maybe they have an attraction, you can mention it to them without being weird. And if they don't reciprocate, don't be weird about it. Just be like, all right, cool. Like, I'm glad I got that out there, but like now I know where we stand and we're just friends.
There's 3 stages to this thing you're describing as like emotions and actions. There's your immediate perception of a situation, which you could call your experience. Your experience can be dismissed by your brain, or it can be elevated into an emotional reaction. The emotional reaction now has effect on you as an individual because it's internal. Now, the emotion can be dismissed or acted upon as an action. That action now becomes a permanent effect on the world around you.
I think there's a third option that you're missing there.
No, it goes from experience to emotion to action.
I think there's a third
What's
action.
the third?
What you said that your emotional state affects your actions or it can be dismissed. I think
Yeah.
there's a third option there.
What do you mean?
You can work through it without acting on it.
No. I just meant like you can have a response to it and you can.
Well, dismiss makes it sound like you just
I'm not saying
submerge it.
ignoring
Just
it.
be like,
Yeah,
get away from there.
That's not what I meant.
I don't like my friend.
No, that's not what I meant.
Or act is like, hey, friend, I like you. I've liked you forever. Oh my God, I wish that we could go out on a date even though like, you've never really looked at me and I feel like I'm ruining this right now. Oh God, I hope we're still friends after this even though I'm ruining it right now. Holy please like
I'm
me.
doing
Please,
your whole fuck.
please go out with me.
All I'm saying is that basically you have a baseline experience, which is your perception of something. This is elevated into an emotion, which the experience can be just, you can like dismiss it. And I'm not saying dismiss it in a suppressive way. I'm saying dismiss it in a move on. Whether you embrace it, you escape it, something else. You don't elevate it to an emotion. You just move on. You can elevate it to an emotion. Like, oh, experience, I see a pretty girl. I've elevated into emotion. I have a crush on her. Then I can take that emotion and be like, okay, it's fine. I have a crush on her. Moving on. I dismissed it. Or I can elevate that to an action. Well, elevating it to an action now brings it to the next level, which now makes it a permanent effect on the world around you by saying, hey, I have a crush on you. I'm incapable of being friends with you. I can't dismiss that emotion.
The thing is, it's whatever happens.
Action makes a permanent stand in reality.
The thing is that what happens afterwards is the part where if people had more emotional maturity and ways to work through things, and I don't think it'd be as big a deal. Because once you get feelings for someone you're a friend with, obviously the more you hang out with someone, the more that you have in common. Like you're going to get feelings because being attracted to someone is half physical, like just you are visually attracted to someone, and half personality. Like it is, I think it is an unrealistic expectation that you will be attracted to someone for more than a honeymoon phase if it's just physical. Like
Yeah.
if you visually find someone appealing and then they have the brain of a little piglet and all they do is use TikTok and research conspiracy theories.
Some people are into that.
Yeah, but if you're not, then like you're not going to enjoy being around them.
No.
If all they do is screech like a parrot all day, not even words, just like in public and they embarrass you and you're not going to be attracted to them for very long because their personality is that of a rock. But
Yeah.
if you have something in common, then that makes you more attracted.
The vice versa is more common
and,
though.
Well, and what I'm saying, what I'm going with this,
Go
where
ahead.
the tracks that I'm laying down for my train to Vamoose is
To Vamoose?
to Vamoose.
What is Vamoose?
Vamoose your head out of here. And
Vamoose.
anyways, is that when you are friends, just friends with someone, first off, the physical attraction part, it hasn't even been talked about. You can easily be physically attracted to your friends.
Yeah.
You could find
I've had
that-
attractive friends.
Yeah, and then
They're pretty.
if you're friends with them, odds are you have things in common. So that gets confusing with your attractive little radar that you're going off haywire because you're like, wait, I'm attracted to them physically and I'm attracted to them personality-wise. What do I do with these emotions? That's where you now, if you can be friends with the person that's opposite sex, then all you have to do is just be like, it's okay to have feelings for this person. doesn't mean they owe me anything, doesn't mean I have to act on it, and doesn't mean I have to suppress it.
That
Just be
is
like, it's
such
okay.
a mature perspective to accept your emotional feelings.
And if you do tell them in a mature way, being like, hey, I've gotten these feelings recently. I don't know if you have the same. And if they don't, then they say, no, I don't have the same. Now, all you have to do
is not act on them.
Well, that's like the main thing. But all you have to do afterwards is don't be a little weirdo that's like, I cannot be friends with you any longer. We must depart ways.
Well,
part the seas, Moses. We shall cross into the promised land where you stay in Egypt, you little girl that I liked, but now I don't.
To
because I'm
defend
hurt.
my side of women and men can't be friends, I think that some people are incapable of suppressing that emotion, and they will inevitably cause the relationships in their life to fall apart because they just can't. They can't keep their pee-pee in their pants.
Yeah. I actually think this. I don't think that men and women can't be friends. Genuinely. I think that men and women just need therapy.
Everyone needs therapy.
I think that the men and women that can't be friends because they're confused and no one has ever told them how to handle their emotions properly in a healthy way is because they need therapy.
I think opposite gendered friendships are much less common for this reason. Because one, the sexes potentially have less in common with one another.
Well, they're partially less common just because you don't do activities that present in that sort of way. Like, not stereotyping and everything, but like of the friends that we have that are girls, they tend to do things that are girl-focused activities where like we wouldn't just show up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go to get my nails done, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because it's not a passion of mine, and me just doing it would be weird. They'd be like, why are you here suddenly? Like, clearly you have an ulterior motive. And if they saw a random guy at one of their activities that like feels off, like they can read that they're there just for sexual attraction.
There's complications there. For sure. Like this is just it's a touchy topic, which is why we're debating it.
Well, it goes both ways in this, is that you wouldn't go to activities that you're not passionate about just to make girlfriends because they'll read that's weird, and vice versa. If a girl
Are you telling me I'm not going to go to Target to go shopping?
You have never spoken to a random person in Target just for the point of making friends. Not a single person has done that.
No. Yeah, they have. Guys literally go to Target to pick up girls.
Pick up, not make friends.
Oh, no, definitely not make friends.
Exactly. That's the entire point. They're going for sexual attraction, not for friendship. But also, if a girl goes to a guy-dominant activity, like comp sci in college, or
a guy-dominant activity, a career,
or
it is
or a video game tournament,
yeah,
they'll be hounded because those guys don't have the emotional maturity to handle girl similar activities. Must be future wife.
I think what people really need is they need to address their down badness and ideally just improve themselves to get laid and get over that so that they can then not see. I think people that are more sexually open are less likely to objectify a person of the opposite sex.
They need therapy. But men and women can be friends.
Men and women cannot be friends because horny. That's the ultimate point I have.
My point is therapy.
Horny and jealousy.
Therapy and
getting laid.
Post-nut clarity. Therapy and post-nut clarity.
Post-nut clarity will lead to many friendships.
I'm putting that on a shirt. Therapy and post-nut clarity.
That's a good shirt. What do you guys think? Do you guys think men and women can be friends in the most generic sense possible?
And if you don't think so, tell us why. Make
sure to check out the podcast, the full uncut and uncensored version on our Patreon. If you guys want to watch our movie and show content, check out Nick and Corey on YouTube. It is hilarious.
And leave a comment down below of what you want us to debate next. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It means a lot to us, and it makes us think that you actually care about us because we don't have a lot of people in our life that have that sort of feeling, and it makes us feel that special tingly feeling inside.
Thank you, patrons. You also give us that specially tingly feeling inside, but not in a weird way. Maybe sometimes in a little weird way.
It gives Nick a weird way.
Only when you like it.
Only on Tuesdays.
Thanks for watching. That's debatable.
That's debatable.
Toodles.
Bell. It means a lot to us, and it makes us think that you actually care about us because we don't have a lot of people in our life that have that sort of feeling, and it makes us feel that special tingly feeling inside.
Thank you, patrons. You also give us that specially tingly feeling inside, but not in a weird way. Maybe sometimes in a little weird way.
It gives Nick a weird way.
Only when you like it.
Only on Tuesdays.
Thanks for watching. That's debatable.
That's debatable.
Toodles.